Hello there everyone, this is Steven. I'm going to be showing you an example of creating radio buttons using checkboxes. Since we don't have the radio button option currently, this is the only way to do it at the present. As you can see on the design window, I've set up 5 different checkboxes just with an arbitrary value, or text name of choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, choice 4, and choice 5. Since this is just an example, it didn't really matter what I picked. We're going to open up the blocks editor here, and as you can see, I've already pre-programmed this to do what I want it to do. What it's going to do is whenever a checkbox is selected, it will basically uncheck the other 4. So we've got the command coded in here for each checkbox to check if the value of this particular checkbox is true, then set the rest of them to false. Let me open up the emulator here, and I can show you that this functions the way that a radio button would, in that you select one and it will only allow you to select that particular one. And check this box here, choice 1 is set to true, which means the rest of them are false. Obviously they started out as being unchecked, so we can check another box and you can see how the code will cause the checkbox number 1 to uncheck itself. Checkbox choice 3, we check that, and choice 1 goes away. Choice 5, check that. Choice 2, check that. Choice 4, check that. Back to choice 1 again, check that. We uncheck this, none of them are checked. That is the only difference that you will see in a checkbox option set up like this that you cannot do in a radio button. With a radio button, there is only either a selection or not a selection. You cannot unselect a radio button. However, you can do that with a checkbox. Now you could create a piece of code in your choice options that will disable the checkbox that you've selected. And if you want to do that, it is actually very simple to do. You just take this set check choice dot enabled, if I can find it here, and let's go false. So now that will, anytime I check the checkbox choice 1, it will disable it. I can go in here and let's in choice checkbox number 2. Let's set the enabled property of the first one back to true, and we're actually going to set the enabled property of the second one to false. So we go back in here to our emulator, check this. Now as you can see, it dims out this checkbox. I cannot uncheck that. If I check choice 2, it does the same thing with choice 2, but it re-enables the first choice checkbox because in the code I set it to do so right here. Hopefully that makes sense and you'll be able to expand upon this in your own apps. Have fun, just as I am.